This car is shaped Koenigsegg, and here's the twist. It was actually a mistake.
So this color actually doesn't even have a name, and it's beautiful. It's a different color all the time.
Meet me at Carmel Highland Service Station. Look out for a Koenigsegg CC.
If it wasn't for the Koenigsegg CC, the brand you know today simply wouldn't exist. More than enough reasons to not only giving it the stage it deserves, with one of today's most iconic automotive photographers, Riocam in Monterey, taking it down Highway 101, but actually following this car across the world, all the way to Dubai, to experience its history through the eyes of its owner and collector, Gaurav Dar. But first, let's get our host there and enjoy the ride. So how do you capture a car that created a brand? You don't just photograph it, you build a moment around it.
For me, taking photos is a love affair. It's beauty, it's seductive, it's fun, but it's also very strong. It starts in my head, obviously, how I see the shots, how I see the model interacting with a car. I see all that in my head. And then to put into reality when I first do the first click. It's kind of like an opening of the whole dilemma or the whole thing. And the first click kind of determines my mood in a way. Gorgeous, beautiful process.
Following the CC all the way to Dubai, and its owner, Gaurav Dar,
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Gaurav Dar, and this is the prototype Koenigsegg. I'm the founder of the Numero Uno collection, where I collect prototype cars and one-offs. The Koenigsegg is a very exceptional car as the prototype. Every other one comes from this. What you see here is the design elements of Christian von Koenigsegg when he was only 22 years old. And this is the famous Dihedral Synchro-Helix doors, which open like this. As you know, Christian set out to build this car to be the fastest car in the world. And the inspiration was taken from some of the most famous vehicles such as the Ferrari F40, the McLaren F1, and his goal was to be the best. From a person that had no automotive background at all whatsoever, he had a vision, he had a dream, and he was relentless in his pursuit to build this car, which achieved and beat all his expectations. Something special about this car that's not very well known is the color. So the Koenigsegg color at one point used to be silver, then it became black, and now it is this color, which is a mistake. So this color actually doesn't even have a name. It happened when Christian was going off for an event and he was telling the Volvo factory to do the paint on the car. He gave them a code, they wrote down a code, and this is it. It was supposed to be magma orange. And the funny part is, because they're a startup, they didn't have enough money to fix it, they left it. And it's beautiful. At night, during the day, it's a different color all the time. The engine is from an Audi. And not only is it from an Audi, it used to be from an S8 and then it is from an A8. And there's a supercharger sitting at the back there, so the car does approximately 350 to 400 horsepower. Now today, by Koenigsegg standards, it doesn't sound like much with 2,000 horsepower cars. But remember, this was built in 1994 to 1996, and you think about that, this was the first hypercar alongside Pagani in the world, from a company that builds Volvo and builds Saab. Not this. So there you have it, the first hypercar in the world, built from Sweden, not anywhere else. Not Italy, not from Britain, Sweden. The front of the car is Kevlar. People think carbon fiber, but if you look closely into the paint, you can see the Kevlar weave, which is super cool. So how did I find this car exactly? It's a very interesting story, because I didn't just walk into a dealership or a museum to buy the car. I actually went looking for it, and it took me 4 years to get this. The first year was to find the owner. The second year was to negotiate with it. The third year was to restore it. The fourth year was to register it, because it didn't have a VIN number. This prototype is so original, it didn't even have a VIN number in it. I had to get many people involved in this project to do that. But 4.5 years, I found it first in a museum in the south of Sweden called Motala, a small village outside. In the back of the museum, it was just sitting there. I still talk about it to everyone today. It's still a magical story, because you can't go and buy something like this in a showroom. And I can tell you, thank God for that, because if you could, it wouldn't have been as much fun. It wouldn't have been as interesting. It was missing for 25 to 30 years. And here now, I can share it with everyone in the world, including you. So a lot of people ask me, what's your most favorite part about this car? And the honest answer is there's just too many things to list. From where it says prototype at the back here, to the wheels that actually have Koenigsegg shield carved into every single wheel, to the fact that it's a hardtop convertible right from the beginning. So the car was supposed to be a convertible hardtop car right from the get-go. Where do you start? The tri-port exhaust that feeds into it. I could go on. The blue suede interior. So many things. So people often ask me, what's been the most exciting moment I've had with this car so far after having it for about 1.5 or 2 years? And easily, it's driving Laguna Seca closed just for me and Christian von Koenigsegg, taking the car around on a lap. But the funniest part about that story is we almost set the car on fire as we were coming down Corkscrew, and there was fuel sloshing around in the back. And since the track was closed, we actually went and did a massive flyby, and we had the officials chasing us from Laguna Seca saying, track is closed, come back. So going around Laguna Seca with Christian, the founder of this car, him driving it, me being passenger with him, showing me what this car can do, what it's meant to do at the track and otherwise, is one of my most favorite moments I've ever had in this car, and probably will still be one of the top 3 easily. Another great story about this car and the element of where it's been and what it's done is interacting with the man of glam when it comes to cars, Riocam. And we found him at Car Week, and we just met and we started talking, and he goes, oh my God, this car, I have to shoot this car in my Riocam fashion. And it was a fun moment, really fun moment. In fact, unfortunately, I burnt out the clutch on this while we were doing it, driving along Pebble Beach and everywhere else. That was a fun experience. It's cost me a clutch for the poor car, but it was worth it, because it was one of those memories I'll take with me forever. I've got personally autographed pictures from Riocam. It's a moment in time from somebody that's an excellent artist, capturing a very different retro, almost 80s, 90s version of how the car could be done from an inspirational marketing point of view in the day if Koenigsegg did it. So a lot of people ask me, how did the Numero collection start? What is the Numero Uno collection? What do I do for a living? What do I do every day in my life? And the answer is very simple. I work very hard. My family started from nothing. My father and mother built up a fintech business. I took over the business, and now I invest in technology companies all over the world. I'm lucky to sit on the board of banks, which some of my friends own. I sit as an advisor to a number of family offices, So I spend my time looking at how technology can be useful for people, but also as an investor where it can make money. So why do I do this? What's the point of Numero Uno and spending time with this collection and sharing with everyone? It's because I used to be like everyone here. I used to be a kid. I love cars. I have a passion for them. I want to own them. I want to drive them. And because that is the most important thing when it comes to sharing, when you can share something. That's all that Numero Uno collection is about. It's about giving you the experience that you should have being somebody that's as passionate about cars as I am.
But this story doesn't end in Dubai, because otherwise, how would you know how Riocam masters his ultimate challenge?
You like the car?
I love the car. That's why I chose it. You know, this car represents Christian's first beautiful thing. Well, he thought it was beautiful. And that's what I like these type of cars, let's say, because it's their first love affair. Majority of the most beautiful cars are based out of femininity or about women's perspective, or their, let's say, how a woman body is similar to what that is.
From my kind of perspective, there's a very fine line between objectifying a woman and showing her in a powerful way.
When I photographed my style, let's put it that way, I always think how a woman sees my work. And that's the ultimate challenge. So, you know, obviously the signature of the legs and many other things, but I think the main thing is always to keep it elegant and strong. I always say that my women are very victorious in my photos. They're strong and they look badass. And I think it's the romanticism of that, the poetry of that. I can be that woman, I can be that badass and looking so hot. Even the humoristic, one of my humoristic shots, which is Lights Out, which is more like a parody of the whole thing of women driving cars. I think even that make women feel comfortable and powerful. And that's the ultimate challenge, because you always have to think, how does a woman think about another woman in a car, let's say. So I'm always thinking, how can I play with this narrative and be creative enough to keep it different or tasteful or elegant and fun in many different ways.
Some things aren't built to impress the world. They are born from a force, the inner need to create, to build something that feels intuitive, personal, and quietly beautiful. That's how icons are made.
Let's watch this beautiful sunset. And that's exactly what this is all about. It's not about appearances, it's about pleasure. Because when I take a photo and I do all my photos, and what I consider beautiful is for my own pleasure. How you capture that beauty and tell a story of that moment. And that's the beautiful thing about photography and film. That you're able to capture a moment, this moment, how beautiful you are right now. It will never happen ever again. And if I'm able to capture it, now that's poetry, that's love, and that's beauty, and there's nothing like it. As simple as that.